Good evening, everyone. I hope we have had a great Tuesday. We'll be looking at today's market action, see what happened. Yesterday we had a 10 wide, excuse me, 12 wide POC. 12 wide POC here. Yesterday, a lot of consolidation inside day, and I said yesterday in yesterday's video that if we take out Friday's high, come out of this inside day, we're gonna get a pretty decent move. Well, we got that for the most part until buyers kind of failed. We opened up with a gap, right? We gapped into a gap, believe it or not. Let me go ahead and pull up my destinations here. You're gonna see a lot of lines on here. Try to follow along with me. But I said if we opened up above yesterday's high, right? Open up above, we'd probably come out of this inside day. Well, we opened with a gap, right? So if we take out Friday's high, we'll probably go and fill that upside gap uh, from 37.25.25 to 37.50.75. And we kind of did that, right? Because we opened with a gap above it. So in doing so, we close out that gap. So this gap is no longer here. So from this point to that point, that whole highlighted area right there, that was a gap, right? We had a gap there. That gap is now gone as we have taken out both of these daily highs and this low day filling that gap. And then we just missed getting that 10 wide puck that I was saying. If we got above this here high day, filled the gap, I said we go and test that 10 wide puck. Well, we missed it by 3 ticks. 3 ticks. All right, not even a full point. We missed it by 3 ticks. Today's high was 37.70, 7.25. That 10 wide puck was at 37.78. So by 3 ticks, we missed it. And then we rolled over and then gave it up. Buyers had a lot to start the morning with. They had the gap, they had value higher. They took out the overnight high, and they were one. They could have gone and went a little bit higher, right? We could have went to that, got that 10 wide POC, hit that afternoon rally high from the way that they were looking this morning, but they gave it all up. Uh, They gave it all up, turned it over, and then we went back and closed the gap from the upside, right? Because we gapped above 37.0250, and we opened at 37.7350, right? Massive gap from this high to here was a 70-point gap. 70 points. We had to come back and backfill, and we did that. We filled the gap. We got into previous day's range, and we almost went to that 12 wide puck. This yellow stair step that you kind of see, this yellow line stair step that you see on my screen, that is the 20-day moving average. We almost got to it. Today's low day was 37 or 36.97.25. That 20-day moving average that we back tested, we struggled to get over yesterday, right? You can see here B, E, F, G, I, J. We struggled to get over it, and then we gap above it to the upside, and then we back test it today. We didn't get quite to it. I didn't get to that 12 wide POC. And I actually took a short in D period to get that 12 wide POC and test that 20-day moving average, but we never got there. And I'll talk more about that trade and the rest of my trades here in a minute. Um, so basically, today was a hard day to read, hard day to trade. It's kind of difficult to know what was going on because we trend down for the most part. Let me go ahead and mark these in real quick for you. Um, A period opened up, right? Open, pushed a little bit higher, got close to that 10 wide block, rolled over, and then we started going to fill that gap. And then in B period here, we opened, pushed up, and then took out A's because we couldn't take out A's high. We couldn't get to the open quite, right? So we rolled over, we took out A's low, and then continued to fill in that gap below. So now we're one time framing down. We opened in C period at 37.42. So we had a small set of single prints that was created in this area. We had a small set of single prints in this section, right? C period. In C period, we came back and backfilled, so we didn't have that single print. We failed to go trend in C. Well, C took out, after filling the single print, C took out B's low. We begin one time framing down again. We continue to one time frame down. We create another small set of single prints from B's low to where D open. So this is D period. In D period. We try to go trend again and C, right? Hold a set of single prints. D period goes back, fills that set of single prints, and then rolls over and continues the one time framing down. Continues to go down in the gap until we fill it. Then in D period, we had this massive set of single prints in this section. A massive set of single prints. Right in this section where it's highlighted. In D period, we had a massive set. We rolled over. I actually got short in D period at 37. Where did I get short? I got short about 37.09 and 37.07 to go fill the gap and get into and then get to that 12 by POC. We did that in E period. So we had this set of single prints here. E period. Let me go ahead and just label all these. You got E, you got F. That way you know what I'm talking about. You got G, you got H, I period, J, K. That was a flush. That was an absolute liquidation right there. And M. ABC. Oh, excuse me. M. And then this is L. I don't know how to do my ABCs. I struggle. All right, so right here, where this box is, that was a set of single prints. D period pushed down. We created that set of single prints. E opened up. I was short 37.09, 37.07. We pushed down, and I could have taken profits at the gap fill, and I could have taken profits before we tested the 20-day moving average. But my target was this 12 wide POC down here. My target was here, where I just highlighted. Target was there. So we didn't quite get there, and then we turn around, we roll up, E period. I added some at 37.13, and I added another at 37.15, and then F period comes around, and we pop. So I get stopped out of my short. I stop out above E's high. I got stopped out. What was it? It was a quick movement. I didn't have a hard stop in, so I had to kind of fill wherever price would give me, and I got filled at 37.22. So it took a pretty big hit there. I was short about a five lot. Took a pretty big hit. Put me down on the day about $300. I tried shorting again on the push up. Put me down again about $500. And I was kind of chasing. Down here, I guess I was having a little bit of FOMO, a little bit of fear of missing out because I figured it was, we had single prints above. We've been one time framing down. We're going to go get that 12 wide POC. That's not what happened. I should have taken profits. I should have gotten out and reevaluated. Instead, I held in, hoping. And when you get caught hoping, you tend to get hurt. And that's what happened to me. Pushes up. We fell to fill single prints the first time, and we back off a little bit. And then in G period, we finally filled that set of single prints. So the set of single prints is gone in D after G period filled it, right? So we fill that set of single prints, that intraday gap, and then what we kind of just grind a little bit higher. I becomes an afternoon rally high as we kind of fell to get over that section right there at 37.46.50. And the rest is history. I actually made decent money in G period to go fill the single prints. I got long. After I'd taken a pretty good loss, I had to sit back, wait out the rest of F period because I'd taken those trades early on. Wait out the rest of F period, wait for it to close, and then kind of reevaluate and reassess. Well, when G opened up and we couldn't get to E's high down here, we couldn't get to this level at E's high to bring POC down, which is this yellow line here that you see, this yellow, that's point of control, that's POC. Because we couldn't bring that down here, I had a feeling that buying was strong, so I decided to get long a 2 lot of the minis. I got long at, before that actually, I went short and actually made out really well. So I got short, no, excuse me, let's back up a minute. So I got hurt when I got stopped out. I actually made money on the short coming back in. I re-shorted against the single prints at 25 and 26. Uh, I had my stop at the single print fill. So if we had filled single prints at 32, I would have gotten stopped out for a pretty good loss again. But instead, we rolled over and I got out of one contract at 21 and then the other at 17 on the pushback now. And then I waited until G period. Once G period opened up, we pushed back. We couldn't get to E's high. I took a long at 37.25 to go and fill the single prints to kind of finish this job that was left undone right here in this section that I just highlighted. Single prints were not filled at the time. So I took that long to go fill the single prints and then I got out of my long at 31. So I took a 2 lot at 37.25 and then got out at 37.31 for a really good trade there. So after that short that I got stopped out of and taking a pretty big loss on in E and F, and then reshorted to make some money back, and then took the long to go fill that single prints. I ended up on the day about $400. So not a lot, but enough money to make the day worth it. And then I stopped trading after G period because I felt myself kind of getting emotional and didn't want to give back any of the profits that I made. So within an hour, 2 hour time frame, not a bad day. Can't complain about 2 hours worth of work. Come out with $300, $400. As far as the rest of the day goes, I period we pushed up, and this is where after hours VWAP is. We had pushed up into that area in this, we'd pushed up into this area in I period where I just highlighted here. We'd pushed up in here above VWAP a little bit and couldn't find any more buyers above, so supply was pretty heavy in this area, not much demand, and so we rolled over in the rest of the day. So after after failing to find acceptance above VWAP in I period and in J, we rolled over, gave some of it back in K as we liquidated pretty heavily. K period was a pretty nifty move. 39 points was the range on that, so pretty big move to the downside there. And then we couldn't quite take out the day's low, so you found some more demand down here, some more buyers at or near the day's low. And then we just kind of rotated back up in L and M. And then after hours and in period, um, Netflix earnings came out and kind of shot this market up. So the market kind of did exactly what I was saying it would if we come out of this inside day. Um, we kind of did almost to the tick as to what I was expecting us to do. The daily is now up. The weekly is balanced and the monthly is still down. So I'll review those charts here in a second. But yesterday I was talking about if we took out that high, right? If we took out Friday's high here at 37.25, the daily would go up and then the weekly would go to balance because that's where that balance high was, or the last week's high was, excuse me. Last week's high was there. So if we taken that out, the daily would go from, or the weekly would go from being down, trend down, to balance. So now the weekly is in a balance. So let's look at the weekly here, and then we'll go back and do some destinations. So the weekly, you see where this line is here at 37, right? That's where that high was. Now the weekly has gone to balance. We were trend down, now we're balanced. We're in a 3-week balance. This whole section here. This whole section here is a balance area now. Now if we take out this high at 38.20, the weekly would go up, right? Or you can call it, right now I'm calling it a 3-week balance. We can get to that high and then back off. Or you can call it a 5-week balance and include this high up here if you wanted a larger range. And say we take out that weekly high, then the top of the balance would have then been there. Once we take out that weekly high at 39, 36.25, then you can maybe call the weekly up, and then at that point you should be close to taking out that monthly high from September to put the monthly into a balance. Excuse me. As far as the daily goes, I'm gonna keep that highlighted here. The daily is now up, right? The daily is up. We've taken out that balance high from the daily. The daily is now up. We're going towards the 40 and then the 50-day moving average up here. And that kind of correlates where our weekly high would be, or our weekly balance high would be. So the daily can continue to trend up towards this 40 and towards this 50, and then we might put in our lower high. As you can see, we still have a series of lower highs and lower lows going. If I draw in a trend line here, you can kind of see that happening. Series of lower highs and lower lows. Lower high, or high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. We took out that high, made a higher, attempted to make a higher high, right? But we rolled over, made a lower low, uh, lower low, lower high, another lower low. Maybe our lower high is here at the 50-day moving average. So that could be a target for your upside. So if you're a swing trader, now that we've come out of this balance, this daily balance to the upside, you can attempt to take a long trade to go and get that 50-day moving average and test the top of that weekly balance high around 3,900. And that's a pretty good risk reward. It's about a 300 point range to the upside. And then, your risk is you put your stop below the 20-day moving average here, and you're risking roughly 80 points. 80 points, you're risking to gain 300. I'm actually in a swing trade myself to go and get that 50-day moving average, so we'll see how that works out, and I'll keep you guys updated. As far as destinations go, on the intraday, um, let me go ahead and put in our destinations here. We have 37.77.25. I've been trying to make these videos a little bit quicker, but I get overwhelmed with all this information, and I like to try to explain it the best I can. So that's our high day. We're going to put in our afternoon rally high here. Afternoon rally high, and that just means that it's the first time frame to take out a previous time frame's high, and then we don't have any more demand above it, right? We just found some supply and then rolled over. So that means supply could potentially be there. As you can kind of see in period, we popped above it a little bit but backed off. And then we have today's low. We only ended the day 8 wide. So not a really strong point of control there. What was that? What's that low there? Is that 50 or 25? 30, 97.25. And a quarter. All right. So there's our low of day. 10. Today's date. All right. So for downside destinations, you got today's low of day at 36.97.25. Our 12 wide pocket at 36.91.25. Afternoon pullback low at 36.81.50. And then that low of day at 36.61.50. Upside destinations are the 37.46.50 afternoon rally high. Today's high at 37.77.25. that 10 wide puck that we didn't get, 37.78, and then the afternoon rally high from September or from October 6th, 37.87.50, and then 38.11.50 above that, 38.20 above that, so on and so forth. Um, and crazy enough, this 12 wide puck up here is kind of a destination where I might look to take off that part of my long position that I'm in. We'll see how that works out, how that pans out. Other than that, hope you all have a beautiful day. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll catch you in the next one. Adios.